So I get asked this question all the time. Am I doing the right thing? I ask myself this question, should I be an actual business owner? This was a question and a challenge that I faced back when I had my contracting business. And it's something that I want to address with you guys today. So welcome to another tradie tip. I'm Andrew Houston from Profit for Contractors, and we're going to get down deep and maybe a little bit dirty in addressing this question. When it comes to running a contracting business, there's many times where we have a lot of self-doubt. And I had a lot of self-doubt back in the day when I was running my contracting business. One of the things that created my doubt and was a big challenge for me was that I was putting in the time. I was doing a lot of things. I was putting in 50 hours and 60 hours and 70 hours. I was wearing, all the hats and doing, multiple different roles. And I just couldn't, make the progress. And that's where I really had the challenge, was putting in all this time and all this effort did not equate to me moving down the field. It actually turned out that the more that I did, the more doing, in a lot of cases, the more I actually went backwards. And so that puts self-doubt into ourselves. That really makes us question, are we meant to be an entrepreneur? And so I had a major breakthrough. I was honestly on the brink of packing it all in. And I was getting ready to go and work for somebody else. I was getting ready to shut down the business, walk away with my tail in between my legs and just come to the reality that, I was not meant to be an entrepreneur. Then I listened to this recording from an individual. His name is Jim Rohn. And Jim talked about, addressing the question, what is the formula for success? And I'm sure there's many other formulas out there, but this one really resonated with me. And when I applied this, it completely changed myself. It completely changed the results I got. And it completely changed, what I was able to have in my life. And so I want to share that with you very briefly. And it was a simple formula. And the formula goes like this: be times do equals have. So be is, who do you need to be? Who do you need to become? The do part is, what are the activities that need to support that person that you need to become in order to get what it is that you need to have? So I want to work through this formula with you, on today's tradie tip and really help you, because I'm super, super excited that I was able to come across this with Jim Rohn. And again, I never got to meet the guy in person. He was a mentor of mine, somebody I looked up to, but he's no longer with us. And when I applied this formula, it made me see things completely differently. So the first thing I did was I scored myself. I said, out of a scale of 1 to 10, and this is sort of Jim's exercise, he said, out of a scale of 1 to 10, how much, are you being clear on who it is that you need to become? And I quickly realized that out of 10, I was like a 1 out of 10. I was not providing the leadership that I needed that my team needed. I wasn't being that person. I wasn't being a true entrepreneur. I was just going through the motions. And when I looked at all the things that I was doing, I was doing a lot. So I scored pretty high on the doing part, but the doing part, it wasn't in line with who it was that I needed to become. I was just doing stuff. I was going to the suppliers. I was, running from, client to client to pick up checks. I was doing a lot of things that was way below my pay grade. And when I scored myself, when I reflected on who I needed to become, and I needed to really become a true leader, I needed to be able to see the true picture of what it is that I wanted to create. And I had never taken the time to do that. Jim talked about it from the perspective of your vision. Like, how much clarity did I have on what it was that I was trying to create? And if I looked at it like a puzzle box, did I have absolute clarity that when I looked at the box, to build that puzzle, that I actually knew what it was that I was trying to build? And the answer was no. So, on the do side of things, I wasn't, I wasn't in congruency of who it was I wanted to become. I was just doing things that were creating more and more chaos. So I needed to start to be a leader. I needed to start doing things like running structured meetings. I needed to start doing things like better, communicating with my team on a regular basis. I needed to do things like building an organizational chart of what it was I was trying to create and defining the roles and responsibilities. And so what I ended up having to do was I had to do a lot of new things to support me becoming and being the leader that I was meant to be. When I looked at my score, I was like a 1 out of 10 on the being part. I was honestly, as far as effectiveness of the doing part, I was maybe a 2 or 3 out of 10. And, out of something that could be, 10 times 10 is 100. I was only scoring like 4 or 5 out of 100 in getting what it was that I wanted to have. And on the side of the equal sign of what I wanted to have, I didn't even have that much clarity, right? I was able to reflect and realize that the reason that I got into business was for 3 main reasons. The 3 things I wanted to have was I wanted to have the freedom to have the impact that I wanted on my community, on my team, right? On myself, on my family. I wanted to have, the second thing was I wanted to have the control. I wanted to have the control to make the decisions that I wanted to make. I wanted to be able to do things the way that I wanted to do things and build this business the way that I wanted it to look. And the third thing was I wanted to make the money. I wanted to be financially, able to have enough money to send my kids off to school, to provide for them the lifestyle they wanted, to, remove that scarcity of not having enough money. So, when you look at this formula for you, how are you scoring, right? And some of the activities that I had to do on the be part, just to let you know, I gave you some examples on the do part, gave you some examples on the have part. But on the be part, I had to start self-reflecting. I started writing in a diary. I started doing what's called affirmations, which I call I am statements. I needed to, visualize it, right? Internalize it, right? I needed to write it down in that diary and actually tell myself every single day, I am becoming a better champion CEO. I am becoming a better leader. Because guys, what you tell yourself is what you become of yourself, okay? And that's super important. So strategies like that, on the B part, and that allowed me to support it on the do part at being a better communicator, okay? At, going and doing some of the things that maybe I wasn't comfortable at doing, getting out of my comfort zone and becoming the person that I was meant to become. So I would like you to think about this for a minute, okay? I'd like you to think about how you score. I'd like you to think about, on the simple formula, be times do times have. How are you scoring with that? How do you rate out of 10 for the be part? How do you rate out of 10 on the do part? And really think about that. And this was a huge game changer for me because I realized that I was meant to become an entrepreneur. I just wasn't being the person I was meant to be. So this is another trade tip from Profit for Contractors. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's any other topics that you want to talk about. But look, I know that you're meant to be an entrepreneur if you just decide to become who it is that you need to become that entrepreneur and do the things that you need to do to get what it is that you want to have. We'll see you on the flip side. Hey Rockstar, if this video resonated with you at all and you want a proven plan and pathway to take your contracting business to the next level with me and my team of experts, click the link below and apply for a free 15-minute pathway to Profits Call.